Okie dokie, boys and girls. So it is day 240 of bulking to 75 kilos, and today is a pull day. Now, I want to talk about the order of exercises and why it matters so much. So, let's say today I'm gonna do front lever and I'm gonna do normal pull-ups, right? Two different exercises. And let's just say I were to do 3 sets of each of those exercises. I think a lot of people would assume because I'm doing 3 sets of each that I will get the same progress for both of those exercises, but that's not true because I'm gonna go hard on both of those exercises, right? And by the time I'm done with the front lever, the first exercise, I'm already gonna be tired. I'm already maybe gonna have spent 80% of my energy. So it's not gonna be 50-50. It's more gonna be like 80-20, because I spent 80% on the first exercise, I have like 20% left for the second one. So that one will not get as much progress as the front lever, right? And that's why it's very important to determine the order of your exercises. You should determine which exercise do you want to progress the most in, and then pick that exercise and do it first. Do the exercises first that will get you strong at that exercise. Usually the exercise itself. If I want to get strong at the front lever, I'll do the front lever itself at the start, as specific as possible. And that's how you get strong, because many people, they just choose lots of different exercises, they do lots of stuff, and then they progress at nothing because they do a bit of front lever and then a bit of pull-ups and then maybe some Australian rows, and it just gets in the way of each other, The first exercise gets in the way of the second exercise and so on, but also vice versa. All of the exercises you do later on get in the way of the first exercise. And that's a different mechanism, right? That's a different reason for why it's vice versa as well. I'll get into that in a moment, but first, let's just do some exercise number 1 basically. I'll make sure to add chapters so that you can skip to point 2 if you want to. But right now, I'm gonna do some front lever. Last time I discovered my holds were weak, so I'm just gonna train front lever holds. I'm gonna try 3 sets of 30 seconds. If I fail to hold 30 seconds, I'm just gonna drop set to an easier progression and keep the hold going until, well, basically I don't have to anymore. So let's go. Okie dokie, I'm gonna do some front lever pull-ups as well. I expect to be dead tired already, but I just want to get the taste of it, before moving on to normal pull-ups. So a couple sets, at least 1 set because I'm moving now, but maybe a couple more sets depending on how I'm feeling. I'm just gonna try and do a couple pull-ups to front lever touch to get the shoulders and the rear delts a bit fired up. Yeah, we can do 1 more. Whew. Alright, that's enough. I'm weak as shit. Alright, so first of all, let's keep. I'm gonna explain, very easy to understand example, why your main exercise will basically affect your secondary and third exercises and so on, right? So I first did front lever pull-ups. Now I'm gonna go to some normal pull-ups, right? And basically, I was able to do 5 front lever pull-ups at the last set. Normally, even in the shape I'm at right now, 15 pull-ups is lowballing it. I should be able to do more than that when I'm fresh. So I'm operating at a third of my capacity right now. Then I'm gonna go over to the second exercise. I'm not giving it my all. I'm giving it my 33% at most. So that's the amount of gains you can expect as well, you know. It's not because you're going all out and you're going to your max that you're also putting in your max effort, because your max effort is already gone. You spent that at the first half of your training. That's why it's not there anymore. You can't spend it anymore. But second of all, the reason that your secondary and third and so on exercise will also affect the first exercise is because you have to recover from it. Let's say today I did the front lever, right? I did the holds, I did the pull-ups. Let's say I just stopped training right here. All I have to recover from is the front lever pull-ups. So I'm going to be recovered quickly, and all of that recovery is going to go straight into the bank, you know, specific to what I want to get strong at. And basically that allows me to put 100% of my recovery, 100% efficiency into getting strong at that movement. But when I do other movements, when I'm going to do the pull-ups, let's say you're doing like Australian pull-ups as well, you have to recover from that as well. And it's going to take away energy from the recovery towards your front lever. So what I see so many times, right, is people telling me they don't progress in the movement they want to progress, right? Let's say it's the front lever in this case, right? I'm training the front lever, but I'm not progressing. Well, what's your workout like? Well, I do my 5 sets of front lever. That should be enough volume, right? Yes, it is. And then I do 5 sets of pull-ups. I do 5 sets of Australian pull-ups. I do some bicep work. I do some tricep work. I do some push-ups. Well, of course, right? Your workout is like this portion of front lever. Sure, that's good. But then you're also doing so many other things you have to recover from, and it's taking away from the work you put into the front lever, which you care about, right? Everyone cares about front lever. Front lever is amazing, right? But you get what I'm saying. And it's not only within one workout, you know. For example, yesterday I did push-ups, right? Because my chest is weak and I don't like being weak at push-ups anymore. I want them to be a bit stronger. Well, that's all like very well, right? But I have to realize if I'm going to do push-ups, I'm going to have to recover from those push-ups in order to get stronger. It's going to take away other things, right, that I'm trying to get strong at as well. So for example, my chest is sore, my triceps are sore. I need those in the front lever. So there's less gains on the table, less energy to be spent on the table for the front lever, right? They affect each other. So that's something you just have to realize, right? If you want to get strong at something, if you care about the movement, make sure you're spending enough energy on it, but also make sure that you're spending enough recovery on it. So that's just something I really wanted to explain, because I've seen the comments so many times like, yeah, I do this and that and this and the other exercises too in one workout. Why am I not progressing? Well, that's why. So now what I'm going to do is some pull-ups. You know, I accept the fact today I'm going to do pull-ups. I'm going to have to recover from them, and there's going to be less gains for the front lever. But the reason I accept that fact is because, well, my brother, I have a big brother. Hi, if you're watching, he gave me a present, like a dipping belt or like a weight belt, and you can use it to basically, I guess this is how you use it, like to put the weight on. Like you can use it to basically put weight on, and instead of using my judo belt, I can now use this to add some weight to my pull. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add 10 kilos to the weight belt. I'm gonna do some pull-ups. I think I'm gonna try EMOM and just see how many sets of 10 I can get, which is ambitious. You know, if I can get 3 sets, I think I'm already gonna be satisfied, but let's aim for 5 at least. So let's go. All right, I don't know if I did this correctly, but let's just give it a go, you know.
Alright, 5 sets was a good guess. Holy fucking shit. So now I just went to my max on the pull-ups. Of course, I'm gonna be a bit tired. And of course, that's gonna be something I have to recover from, which is not frontlever, right? So I cannot expect my gains to 100% go to frontlever if I'm just spending my energy elsewhere. That's just something you have to deal with. And does that mean that it's bad to do multiple exercises? Of course not, but you just have to be aware of it, you know? If you find yourself not progressing on a certain exercise, well then you have to know the reason, right? And you can be okay with the fact that you're not progressing quickly if you want to do multiple things, but if you're not, well, these are the kind of things you have to adjust, right? These are the kind of sacrifices you might have to make. You might want to do pull-ups, but if it's not benefiting your front lever and you want to get better at the front lever, then maybe you shouldn't do pull-ups, right? I mean, there's ways to progress in both. I guess I can get into that in like another video on like how to progress in like 2 exercises at the same time. But in general, right, focusing all your energy on one thing is going to give you the best results for that one thing. That's logical, right? Yeah, you have the eggs in the baskets. Everyone knows it, you know? You have only so many eggs, so much energy, and you can put them in a lot of baskets, right? But then the baskets aren't filled. If you put them all in one basket, then the basket is filled, right? If you put all your energy in different goals, right? Well, all of those goals are going to have to progress on just a tiny bit of energy. That's just how things are. Let's do a fucking pump check. Should I do like light? I don't think it matters. The lighting is bad anyway. Oh, holy fucking shit. Alright, I think that's it for today's video, you know? Very happy with the workout, how it went. Happy with the dip belt. Thank you, brother. And yeah, tomorrow is gonna be a leg day. Now, like I mentioned yesterday, there might just only be 12 weeks left on this bulk, you know? It's gonna, like 12 weeks, that's my deadlift to reach 75 kilos. If after that I want to continue for the squat, maybe I'll do it, but from today on, you know, or I guess from tomorrow when my first leg day is there again, it's gonna be squat focused, you know. Yes, I'm doing these upper body workouts, but I want to recover from squats and Nordic curls. So I'm gonna have to maybe tone it down a little bit on the upper body days, you know, because the same way that every exercise affects the front lever, right, upper body training, it's also true for pistol squats and so on. So if I only do pistol squats, it's gonna be a very, you know, all of my recovery is gonna go towards the pistol squat, and I'm gonna be able to get stronger more quickly in that movement, but as a trade-off, I will lose all of my other strength, so that's kind of a balance that I have to search, but, you know, the balance will definitely be leading towards the legs, you know, so, yeah, we'll see how that goes tomorrow. I'll see you then.